everyone, and this is BioPhoenix here, and I'm back doing another top 10 list on video game music. But this time I'm going to be doing a second part to a topic that I already did before, although that was many years ago, and that happens to be most metal video games. Which is always something that is a huge favorite of mine, of course. So I always wanted to do a part 2, since there's still a lot of other soundtracks or songs from video games that are badass shit. Since this is a top 10 list, and I can't fit everything into there, so of course I'm going to be mentioning ones that I did not talk about in the first part, so unfortunately I'm not going to be talking about stuff like Guilty Gear, F-Zero, Ys, all that kind of stuff, because I already mentioned those in part 1, but I'll still leave a link in the description to part 1 in case you haven't seen it. So there's still plenty of games with metal soundtracks I want to mention here that I have yet to talk about before, or even ones that I have yet to discover since I did that first part. So with that being said, let's continue talking about even more headbang-worthy metal tracks, so fuck yeah. So for number 10, we have Rusty with Rhythm of the Dark. So this right here is a Castlevania clone on the PC-98. Now, in case you're not familiar with the system, the PC-98 had a really interesting sound chip that was very different compared to every other system that I'm aware of. Now, even though the technology was still not there for having real instruments being recorded, you can definitely tell that this game has a lot of metal influences throughout, and it's pretty badass shit. And hopefully one day someone out there will actually do a metal cover of this OST, and it would be fucking awesome. So as anyone has ever heard one, or knows anyone that wants to make one, let me know and I'll try my best not to jizz my pants too hard. So for number 9, we have High Velocity Mountain Racing Challenge on the Sega Saturn with Track 1. Yeah, how original. Yeah, it's one of those OSTs where none of the tracks were named anything. Well anyways, first of all, this game is a hell lot of fun, and secondly, this soundtrack is totally bitchin'. Like, just the starting of the song just speaks for itself, and then it just progressively just gets better. And in some aspects, it kind of reminds you of something that Van Halen would do, which would be totally amazing. So yeah, this one is fucking kick-ass. And as for number 8, we have Contra Shattered Soldier with The Mountain Area. Now holy fuck, this game really did take me by surprise. Now yeah, the NES Contra games are a true classic, and I was not really expecting the ones that were past the Super Nintendo and Genesis to be as great. I mean, the PS1 games were just total shit. But this one on the other hand is just total batshit. And because of that and how fun it is and also how great the OST is, this one might be my second all-time favorite Contra game. I know that might sound a bit of a bold statement, but I'm dead serious. It's that fucking good. So anyways, the mountain area of this game is actually pretty rad. And the song has a very deep tone of heavy metal, which is always great. So yeah, this one I just really like a hell lot. for number 7, we have Warriors All-Stars with Lady Crimson Stars Mix GT. Now, this is a remix version of a song within Knights of Azure, which is already a pretty awesome song as is, but I was actually surprised that they even made an improvement upon that song because holy fuck, this version is just all around amazing. Now, yes, I know in part 1 I already talked about Dynasty Warriors 4, but this is more or less of a spin-off where it combines like a bunch of characters from other Koei franchises into one and does like a bunch of badass remixes of their songs. So I do think it is worth mentioning, and especially the fact this game is still recent as of now, and I do think that the OST is just all around pretty fucking amazing, so yeah, this song is definitely one of my top favorites. And as for number 666, the number of the beast, we have Akai Katana with Koguchi, which is stage 2. So this game right here is a shoot 'em up on the Xbox 360. It's a really intense bullet hell shooter that's a hell lot of fun, and of course the soundtrack is pretty awesome. It has a good mix between heavy metal, trance, and even some atmospheric Japanese music, which is really interesting, but it actually works really well. And this song right here is one of the more faster paced sounding songs, and I really love that a lot. So if you own a 360 and you do enjoy shoot 'em ups, then this is one I can definitely recommend checking out. But if you're not the biggest shoot 'em up fan and this sounds really interesting music wise, then I can at least recommend checking out the OST. As for number 5, we have Bulk Slash with the title theme. Now, holy metallic priest, this song is like power metal to the max. So this is another Sega Saturn game, but it was only in Japan. In fact, I actually did a review of this one quite some time ago, and well, it's a pretty badass game as to be expected with a title theme like this. But if there was one thing I had to complain about would be the fact that it's way too short. In fact, sometimes I just throw the song on loop a bunch of times and just go like, yeah, this is great. But despite the shortness of it, this is still one of the best title screens I ever heard in my life, not even joking. And as for number 4, we have Yakuza Zero, Pledge of a Demon. Kinda tough to pick one of my favorite metal tracks within this game because there is quite a few of them in there that are pretty damn awesome, but this one probably might be my favorite track within the game. So this one has a good mix between metal and electronic music, which I think is pretty interesting, and it did turn out to be really great. Also, every time I listen to this song, it just gets me fucking pumped because, oh my god, like, the boss fight for this song is, like, always really great and exciting every time I hear it. So it's another great boss theme and another great game that you will not be disappointed in. As for number 3, we have Brandished the Dark Revenant with Headless. Man, it always feels so good to mention a Neon Falcom game, but weirdly enough, I have yet to play this exact one, although I have played the Super Nintendo version of Brandish, which, well, unfortunately, it really wasn't that great, but it did have some really good music, but this remake version of it is like, holy fuck, like, they did a fucking amazing job on this. Which is to be expected for a Neon Falcom game. So this one I find to be really catchy, and I can just listen to this one for a really long ass time. And it suits perfectly for a boss fight, so yeah, this is another really awesome boss track that I can mention here. As for number 2, we have Fist of the North Star Ken's Rage 2 with The Clumsy Man. And this song is anything but clumsy because holy crap, this song is like super fucking thrash. Which does make a lot of sense, since I always found that the Fist of the North Star series, whether you're talking about the anime, the manga, or even some of the games, they always did kind of have a metal vibe to them like that. But out of all the Fist of the North Star OSTs, this one probably is my favorite, to be honest. Yeah, I even like it just a little bit more than the Arc System Works one, which is a very close second, but either way, you can't go wrong with either of them, but still, this one is still an all-time favorite. Well, it's time for the moment we've all been waiting for. Da 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 da. No, I'm just kidding. But in all seriousness, though, we're gonna get to the #1 spot, and that happens to belong to Painkiller with Military Base. Honestly, it's really hard to pick one song out of this OST, but the thing is, I listen to this one pretty often, so yeah, fuck it, I'm taking this one. So what can I say about Painkiller? Well, it's a first-person shooter that's very dark and gritty, lots of blood, lots of gore, and of course, lots of heavy metal in it. But since this game is called Painkiller, well, unfortunately, there's no Judas Priest song in here, which is a little bit unfortunate, but despite that, though, you're definitely not going to be disappointed when it comes to this game's OST. So what else more can I say? This is another huge favorite of mine when it comes to heavy metal music within video games, and well, it's not hard to see why. I mean, the game is called Painkiller after all. I mean, like, what else would you expect from this? Like, a bunch of, like, butterflies flowing through the wind with chimes and bubbles and, like, pink fluffy bunnies jumping around? Of course fucking not. So there you have it. Those are some of my all-time favorite metal tracks within video games, or at least more of them, since there's still even more I could mention here, but we'll have to do that for another day. So what are some of your favorite heavy metal tracks that I didn't mention in this part, or even ones that I didn't even mention in the first part? Well, I'm looking forward to listening to some newer stuff, if there's any, and of course, there is also the fact that I do want to do more video game OST top 10s with different themes and such, so if you do have any newer ideas that I haven't done yet, feel free to suggest some. So with that being said, thanks for watching and commenting, and have yourselves a great day.